Hamza was a 21-year-old Muslim living in busy Chicago. Like most young adults, he had big dreams but was constantly distracted and felt uneasy deep down. It was 2:30 a.m. and his room reflected his state of mind. Clothes scattered on the floor, unopened books on his desk, and his phone glowing in his hand. He wasn't looking at anything important, just scrolling mindlessly, trying to fill a void he couldn't describe. As time passed, the beautiful call to Fajr prayer echoed outside. Hamza, wrapped in his blanket, turned off his alarm without even opening his eyes. His phone buzzed with a message from his father.
Son, don't forget to pray Fajr prayer. Allah will guide you if you take the first step.
He felt a little guilty but quickly gave in to sleep. When he woke up at 1 p.m., guilt hit him immediately. He glanced at his prayer app. Fajr was long gone and Dur was almost here. He sighed, telling himself, "I'll change tomorrow, inshallah," a promise he'd made too many times before. Then his phone buzzed again and he went back to scrolling, stuck in the same cycle. Inside, Hamza felt like he was at war with himself. One voice told him, "You're wasting your life. You need to get closer to Allah." Another voice taunted him, "Why bother? You've already failed so many times. Just give up." He felt stuck, unable to silence either voice. He tried to study later that day, sitting with his university textbooks, but his phone was always within reach. Just a quick check, he told himself. Hours later, he was still scrolling random videos and posts. His deadlines loomed, but he just couldn't focus. That evening, the call to Maghrib prayer stirred something in him. He walked to his prayer mat, ready to pray. But just as he raised his hands, a notification popped up. His favorite show had a new episode. "I'll pray after one episode," he thought. 4 episodes later, he rushed through the prayer, barely paying attention. At dinner, Hamza was quiet, barely engaging with his family. His little brother Musa excitedly talked about a new surah he had learned at his weekend Islamic school. Their mom smiled and said,
"There's a youth program at the mosque tomorrow. Why don't you join?"
Hamza shrugged, mumbling something about needing to study. But deep down he knew his priorities were off track. That night Hamza had a vivid dream. He was standing in front of the Kaaba, overwhelmed by its beauty. An elderly man with a glowing, wise face approached him and said gently,
"Your phone isn't your enemy, Hamza. The real problem is the emptiness inside you. Shaitan whispers that distractions can fill it, but only Allah can truly satisfy your soul."
"You feel stuck because you've lost your purpose." Hamza woke up with his heart pounding. The dream felt like more than just a dream, it was a wake-up call. He made wudu with cold water, and for the first time in weeks, he prayed Fajr on time, feeling sincerity in his heart. That small act of obedience changed his day. He put his phone aside and opened the Quran. One verse stood out. "Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves." It hit him hard. He realized he couldn't wait for change, he had to take action. He spent the day organizing his room, deleting distracting apps and making a schedule. His family noticed the difference immediately. Musa looked at him in surprise and said, "Brother Hamza, you're praying now? Can you teach me too?" Hamza's heart softened. He realized his actions didn't just affect him, they impacted his family too. He started praying at the mosque and joined the youth program his mom had mentioned. There, he met people who understood his struggles and helped him stay connected to Allah. But change wasn't easy. A week later, old habits crept back. His phone buzzed with notifications, tempting him to scroll again. The same voice whispered, "You've done so well. One day off won't hurt." This time Hamza fought back. He remembered the dream and the verse from the Quran. Instead of picking up his phone, he grabbed a journal and wrote, "What am I feeling right now? Why do I want to pick up my phone? How can I make this moment an act of worship?" Writing gave him clarity. He realized he wasn't just fighting a phone addiction. He was battling Shaitan's whispers and his own weaknesses. He made a supplication. "O Allah, protect me from laziness and the whispers of Shaitan. Strengthen my heart and guide me." Hamza's story reminds us that change isn't a straight path. There will be ups and downs, but every small step toward Allah matters. Now what about you? What would you do in Hamza's place? How do you fight your inner struggles? Share your thoughts in the comments or write them in your journal. Remember, the first step to change is always in your hands. If this story inspired you, hit the like button and subscribe for more uplifting content. Let's grow together on this journey towards self-improvement and closeness to Allah.